Much, Roche, for the. Thank you so much, Roche, for the invitation, and thank you so much for coming to listen to us and to act together. So I wanted to share with you what motivates me. What texts from my faith. Corpus of texts motivate me, and also what Judaism, in particular progressive Judaism, does in particular to address this issue globally, and to address this issue nationally. So starting from the very beginning, what motivates us? And by beginning, I literally refer to the beginning, because from a Jewish perspective, we draw our motivation to act for climate change and to act to take care of our environment. We take this motivation from the book of Genesis, chapter 2, verse 15. The eternal God took human beings and put the man in the Garden of Eden to work it and to take care of it. And we differentiate between working it, so some sense of functional usage of the land for our benefit, and taking care of it. However, for a very long time, it was perceived from a very anthropocentric perspective, where it was, yes, you take care of it, and yes, you work it, and it is about your benefits. So about the tangible benefit that human beings can derive from working the land, and to making sure that, let's say, that it's not depleted because of the functional benefit that we could get from the land, from our planet. And this is very much, very much reflected in the language of Deuteronomy, verse 19, which on a very micro scale, which does connect to climate change, you will see it in a second, relates to the need to protect our environment. So Deuteronomy 20, verse 19 says, when you besiege a city for many days, to wage war against it, to capture it, you shall not destroy its trees by wielding an axe against them. For you may eat from them, but you shall not cut them down. Is the tree of the field a man to go into the siege before you? So we see here clear anthropocentrism. Yes, it's about human agency, and it's about a certain degree of utilitarianism, but at the same time, it is about protecting ourselves and the environment from unnecessary destruction. And how does it relate to climate change? It's a tree. I think that doesn't need to be the connection doesn't need to be made too explicitly. It's all about offsetting the results of carbon emissions and so on. But it also relates to an evolution that took place after the Torah has been written, an evolution that took place in the time when Judaism really developed after the destruction of the temple. So from, let's say, the 2nd to the 5th century, when new ideas based on the text of the Torah developed, and the most important of them, when it comes to environment, was the doctrine of Bal Tashchit. So literally the commandment not to destroy nature unnecessarily. B-A-A-L, Tashchit, T-A-S-H-I-T. So Bal Tashchit, so not destroying the world unnecessarily. And initially, it was a commandment to not destroy things that one does not need to destroy to create an object or to reach a certain material goal. But with time, it became associated with an understanding that consumption for the sake of consumption, excessive consumption, is not good. Excessive consumption destroys our environment. Excessive consumption destroys the world as a whole. Resources are depleted. They will not be able to regenerate themselves. So this is where the connection of the texts of Judaism and climate change developed. from the idea that that resources are not infinite, and then B, that if we want to live in the world, we need to consider if our consumption is not doing more harm than good to the world. And this was reinforced by the language of Jewish prayer and by the language of Jewish mysticism, that tells us in the prayer that we say every morning, the breath of life in every aspect of creation shall bless you, God our Creator, and the spirit of all flesh ever recalls your beauty and your greatness. So there is this understanding that there is a divine imprint in every bit of creation. We simply can't take action to destroy any aspect of our natural environment, because we're depriving ourselves a mystical chance of being in communion with in the world. So we have the legalistic, and then we have the mystical, that reinforce each other to act for climate for climate justice, and to make sure that we engage in coalitions building to do our best to reduce the environmental impact that we have on the world. And what is the biggest project that we do it in as Jews in this country? Apart from cooperating with others, we have a project called Eco Synagogue, where we have conducted environmental audits of quite a number of synagogues in this country, and new synagogues are joining every month. It's about making sure that our synagogues are run in an environmentally sustainable way, which is great, but it's just one element of how we act. The way we act in the progressive movement, we also very much teach our children that any decision that they make, any consumer decision that they make, has an impact on the climate. So we really try to educate the young generation of progressive Jews, and also the generation of their parents and grandparents, that every act that we make, every purchase that we make, is a religious act of choosing what kind of world we want to live in, and choosing how we want to engage with the environment. And the motto that we live by in doing so, from educating our children at our Sunday school, all the way to making a decision what we purchase for the need of our of our community. All of this is influenced by a midrash, by a Jewish non-legal material, and by a Jewish parable that is summed up in the following words: "Do not destroy my world, for if you do, there will be nobody after you to make it right again." So we try to live as a community. We try to live by this midrash, and it influences the educational decisions and consumer decisions that we make. And we try to build coalitions within the progressive Jewish world to increase awareness of it. And I'm looking forward to listening about your experiences, and hopefully identifying things that you're doing better or similarly to us. And of course, always looking for potential coalition partners.